Welcome to the Social Lens and thank you for watching. As South Africa gears up for its 2024 general elections, the global South African diaspora has already begun casting their votes in a historic 3-day voting period. This comprehensive and logistically challenging endeavor highlights the significant participation of South Africans living overseas who, despite being miles away from home, remain deeply connected to their homeland and its political future. The voting process for South Africans abroad commenced on the second day of a 3-day exercise, strategically designed to accommodate different time zones and geographic locations. Over 76,000 registered voters across 111 missions worldwide are participating in this electoral event, marking a record number of overseas registrants who have applied to cast special votes. The electoral process abroad is set to conclude synchronously with domestic voting in South Africa on May 29. The first wave of voting started on Friday, with South African expatriates in the Middle East being the first to cast their ballots. This initial phase set the tone for what would be a robust turnout across various regions. In the Middle East, the commitment of South Africans to participate in their country's democratic process was evident, with numerous reports of voters traveling significant distances to reach polling stations. The second day saw a flurry of activity as voting expanded to include Asia, Europe, North and South America, and other African countries. In Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, despite a relatively small community of about 200 South Africans, there was a steady stream of voters. This enthusiasm was mirrored in other parts of the continent. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, where over 4,000 South Africans, primarily soldiers engaged in peacekeeping missions, are registered to vote, the process was described as peaceful by the South African ambassador. Similarly, in Maseru, Lesotho, about 240 eligible voters experienced a smooth voting process, with at least 20 individuals casting their ballots by mid-morning. In Zimbabwe, expectations were high for approximately 200 voters to visit the South African mission in Harare. The Electoral Commission of South Africa, IEC, faced the considerable challenge of ensuring that all overseas votes were cast and transported back to South Africa securely. For missions operating on a Monday to Friday schedule, voting was confined to a single day. However, in countries with larger South African populations, such as the United Kingdom, extended voting periods were arranged. With over 24,000 registered voters, the United Kingdom holds the largest concentration of South African voters abroad. To accommodate this significant number, the IEC extended voting hours at London polling stations, allowing citizens to vote from 7 to 2100 hours on both Saturday and Sunday. This extension was a crucial step to manage the high voter turnout efficiently. In the United States, similar provisions were made in major cities like Washington, D.C. and New York. Extended operating hours were implemented to facilitate the voting process, ensuring that South Africans in these regions had ample opportunity to participate. In Asia, South Africans in Hong Kong expressed the importance of participating in their national elections. Despite being thousands of miles from home, voters in Hong Kong emphasized their connection to South Africa and the significance of voting to influence the country's future, particularly concerning issues such as basic services and governance. South Africa stands out as one of the few African nations that allow its citizens abroad to participate in national elections. This inclusivity reflects the country's commitment to a comprehensive democratic process, recognizing the valuable perspectives and contributions of its global diaspora. The record number of overseas registrants this year underscores a growing awareness and engagement among expatriates regarding South Africa's political landscape. The logistical coordination required to facilitate overseas voting is immense. The IEC had to ensure that ballots from 111 missions worldwide were securely transported back to South Africa for counting. This involved meticulous planning in coordination with international courier services and diplomatic missions to ensure the integrity and security of the ballots. As the overseas voting period draws to a close, the focus will shift to the logistics of transporting and counting the ballots. Votes cast abroad will be returned to South Africa, where they will be included in the national telepost, the May 29 vote. This process ensures that the voices of South Africans abroad are integrated into the overall electoral outcome, reflecting a truly inclusive democratic exercise. As the time has come for the majority of South Africans to cast their votes in the 2024 general elections, the significance of this electoral process cannot be overstated. These elections represent a pivotal moment in the nation's history, particularly in light of the mounting dissatisfaction with the ruling African National Congress, ANC. Over the past several years, the ANC has faced intense scrutiny and criticism for its handling of various issues, including economic stagnation, corruption scandals, and failures in public service delivery. The electorate's growing discontent has set the stage for a potentially transformative political landscape. The possibility of a coalition government has never been more real, with opposition parties gaining ground and presenting a united front to challenge the ANC's long-standing dominance. This election, therefore, is not just a routine democratic exercise, it is a critical juncture that could redefine the trajectory of South Africa's political and social fabric. Looking beyond May 29, the outcomes of these elections will likely herald significant changes for South Africa. Should the ANC fail to secure a decisive majority, the country may witness the formation of its first major coalition government, which could bring fresh perspectives and renewed vigor to address the nation's pressing issues. This potential shift underscores the high stakes of this election, as voters are keenly aware that their choices will shape the future direction of their country. The anticipation is palpable, with both domestic and international observers watching closely. As South Africans prepare to vote, there is a collective sense of urgency and hope that this election will pave the way for a more prosperous, accountable, and inclusive South Africa. The engagement of the diaspora has set a promising precedent, and now it is up to the voters at home to drive this momentum forward, potentially ushering in a new era of governance and national rejuvenation. If you found this video informative, please click the like button and consider subscribing to the channel. Until next time.